Hey Action Figure Minute fans, doing another video today, a little something different, kind of talking about the creative part of the hobby, customizing. I've done one of these videos before. I believe I've shown off one of my pieces before. This is one of my most recent figures I made. It's a Gamorrean Guard tribute, and I wanted to do a little bit more show off today. I got some new parts in the mail. So just briefly going to show some of these new parts that I'll get to painting someday. I'm getting a massive hoard collection of parts, but I'm also supporting the artists in the hobby. So to me, that's very cool. What I got today was an order from the Paint Prince, Robert Espino, and Robert has a toy group on Facebook called The Art of Toys. I'm going to go ahead and put a link down in the description to it so you can go ahead and check that out. And, join in on the conversations, join in on the group, talk to Robert, see if you'd like for him to print anything up for you. These prints that I got today were from two different sculptors, pronounces their name Moaiway, and I also have some prints here from Jason the Demon Rodriguez, and you can find him on Instagram. I'll put a link to him in the description as well, to both of them. So let's go through what I purchased today and what I got in the mail. I got some really cool things. We'll start off with the Moaiway Sculpts because I actually had Robert do a little bit of work for me in scaling some of these prints down so I can have them in both the original scale, which was in an ogre scale, and then also in a Mythic Legends 1.0 scale. So Robert shrunk the sculpts down for me for those because I wanted some in 1.0 scale as well. So let's show off some of these parts first, and we got our Disabolus Mythic Legends ogre scale figure here. He was my closest one that I can grab. Very awesome figure. Love this guy. But what we're going to do is we're going to rip his head right off. And we'll start off with these really cool rhino sculpts that Moaiway sculpted. And this looks just incredible. Awesome. If you are a fan of the animated classic, the Disney animated classic Robin Hood, you'll see very much that this is an homage to those rhinos. And it fits on the body extremely well. Great sculpt. And I think there were like 6 different versions of this rhino. I had Robert get 2 of them printed up for me. So this one, where you can see his mouth is closed. And, sorry, I'm seeing differences here. And no coverings on the eyes, like no mask. And the second one, where he's got a gritting teeth, and you can see the hood goes over the eyes a bit. And there might be some other differences in there, but those are the quick ones that jump right out to me when going over these sculpts. So very awesome. I was a huge fan of the animated Robin Hood movie when I was a kid. So getting these sculpts once I saw them, absolute must. Now, I really like them in ogre scale. Maybe someday I will do customs with them in the ogre scale. But what I also really wanted them was in a 1.0. So again, Robert took to the task and shrunk those down for me. And we can see right here, he did a great job sizing it so it fits perfectly on a blank, bare-chested Mythic Legion's body. And so that's the first version I showed you, and here's the second version with the hood over the eyes. So again, perfectly sized, does really well with direct fit, paint and put on. I also grabbed a more traditional armored body, so you can see it sits a little higher on those, but not bad by any means. Perfect fit for a bare torso. So, and they're both same fit. They fit well, and you could put in some, one thing that Robert does that should go without mention is he throws in all the blue tack. so you can secure any of the parts that you get from him with blue tack so that they stay on there really well. He also shrank down for me, and this is in two parts. I already put the head on the neck. I guess I can probably take it off again. So he shrunk down this hyena sculpt for me, and you just put the head that articulates then on that neck. And this was, again, it was in an ogre scale sculpt, and he shrunk it down for me so it would fit on a 1.0 scaled body. So here it is on the armored body, and here it is on the bare torso. Now it looks like there's a little bit of clearance in there that I could probably get in this neck joint hole with a Dremel it out a little bit, but that's customizing. I mean, you know, not everything is going to be snap on ready to go all the time. You need to have the tools to do the jobs and get the sculpts that you're wanting to fit on the pieces that you're wanting to. Not everything's going to be plug and play. Sometimes you got to rip things up. He also, this came from Jason Rodriguez as well. I'm pretty sure Jason Rodriguez sculpted this. So what was really cool about this piece that Robert was really floored about was it printed this way. It printed with all the connections. So it's a flail. It looks like it might be leather that's on there, but what we do here is we just plug it right in. And again, it might require a little bit of work, but ultimately it will go on a Mythic Legion's arm. So he's got like a flail like you might see in a Coliseum or something like that. So this was really cool. Very awesome that Robert printed this out and made it available to me. Okay. I had to do a lot of figuring out on the fly about these next parts. These were parts that Robert printed from me, and they were sculpted from Jason Rodriguez. And I thought, okay, you know, just like any other ogre scale, you know, I showed off these Moaiway parts, slips right on, slides right on, or it pops on like a normal Mythic Legion's head. So I thought these would do the same, these Jason Rodriguez parts. Now, what these are, I guess before we'll get into the fitment, is this is, in my opinion, a dragon, turtle, you know, Toka and Razar type heads. Now, this Razar, if I'm getting them right, Toka and Razar, this is more dragony, but still the face sculpt overall reminds me of the two. And they also, for the turtle, had a giant turtle shell. Now, both Robert and myself were confused on the fitments of these. And, you know, if you try to put this head on this body, not going to work. Not intended to go on this way. I haven't done a lot of ogre scale. Actually, I don't even think I've done any. I've done one ogre scale custom. But I've never done any of these new dragons. Now, first and foremost, this head was a pain in the booty to take off. Ton of heat required. When I popped the head off, it pulled the peg out of the neck, and then a ton more heat to get this peg back out, and then pop this joint back in. But it's all doable with heat and with time and patience. So this head fits. It's supposed to go on here. You know, could even go on probably, you know, I'm not pushing it in too hard because we're doing this on the fly. Same with the other head. They both fit on here like they're supposed to. This one probably could use a little blue tack, but this is the way it's supposed to go on here. So let's get a close-up look at him. So very cool. I really like this. Do a close-up of the turtle as well before we go on to the next part. Turtle fits very snug. So this figure, though, I'm not certain about the other Mythic Legions, ogre, scale, dragon, whatever these races are called. I'm not certain how they're all oriented. With Scourge, I know Robert was having a tough time getting this turtle shell on because I think what he was trying to do was plug it into maybe these chest straps or something. I'm not certain where it went, but wherever he was trying to fit them in. Oh, you could take these back plugs out. Well, I can't do it on the camera right now, but these pop out in case you wanted to put in the extra arms. Like, actually, I have them right here. like Kragnar has. So if you wanted to, if they want to in the future, they can use this to make multi-armed figure. But what they did with this figure, because they also included pauldrons on it, shoulder pauldrons, the shoulder pauldrons don't plug into the harness because they'd be flying all the way up here. They actually plug into that socket right there. So when Jason Rodriguez sculpted this, he intended this shell to go in these holes, in these scales, like so. Actually, hold on. You have to remove the harness. Let me go back to that. Let me pop the head back on, doing this all on the fly. This is customizing, folks. So now I got the harness out of the way and it fits. Might need a little blue tack to stick in there and stay in, but it stays on. You know, it'd be really, let me see if they do both line up, right? Yeah, they both line up. Perfect. So again, might need a little blue tack to stick in there, but it does work. I don't know if the Scourge and the Kragnar, I can't remember off the top of my head. I looked on Source Horseman, I didn't find it, but I don't know if they had these plugs with these holes in it, or if they just came with the plugs. I know both of them came with these cover pieces, but I don't know if they had these holes in them. Easy probably to fix. You can probably just bust out a drill if you wanted to do a permanent customizer and drill holes into these scales that would line up and then work with the shell. But this fits perfectly on this style, on this Arachagore figure. So figured it out. You know, that's what customizing, again, that's what it's all about. It looks super cool. It's such a killer sculpt. Yeah, very happy with this. And Robert and I both were pretty like, how did we miss this and mess this up? But I haven't seen anybody do any customs of these yet either. So awesome. I really love the sculpting on the shell is just killer. The head, I mean, Jason Rodriguez knocked it out of the park on the sculpt on this guy. One other part of the customizing hobby I thought I would tell everybody about too is storage for all of these printable pieces. I like to buy these tackle boxes from Walmart. They're cheap and they're easy for storage and they protect all of your 3D resin printed parts. I think they're like $4, 4 and change. But you could see, you could put in all of these customizable compartments so you can put your pieces in and, you know, not worry about things breaking. So highly recommend that you pick one of these up if you're a customizer. Keep things organized, keep things safe so nothing breaks. And so yeah, this video was a journey. There's a lot of cutting and hacking and figuring out stuff on the fly, but we got there. I'll do more of these videos as I get more parts. They're kind of fun to make and maybe they'll be smoother going forward. But go out there, check out all the different custom 3D print creators. Like I said, we've got Robert Espino in his Art of Toys Facebook group. We've got Len LaGuardia with Wolf King Customs. He's even got a group called the Wolf Den. There's Dust Till Dawn, and they have their own group as well. But bottom line, there's a ton of really cool individual companies, indie companies out there that are doing 3D prints, doing their own sculpts, purchasing STL files from sculptors, and making them to work with Mythic Legions. So it's fun for me, something you might want to check out. I just wanted to drop a couple extra different names in here of other creators within the community. I appreciate you watching and checking out the video, and have a great rest of the day. Peace.